Good day everyone. So ngayon ay tatalakayin natin ang interest, maturity, future and present values in compound interest. Last time, diniscuss natin ang about interest, maturity, future and present values in simple interest. So ngayon naman ay sa compound interest. So to find the compound interest, which is compounded annually, the formula to find the maturity value is, when we say maturity value, it's also called the future value. So we're going to use the formula, future value, which is the F, is equals to P times 1 plus R raised to T, where yung F ay maturity or future value. Yung P ang principal or present value. Yung R ang interest rate. Yung T is the term or time in years. So this is the formula we're going to use in finding the compound interest. Next, to find the compound interest, use the formula. So we have the compound interest is equals to the future value or the maturity value minus the principal. Then, kung saan ang IC, which is the compound interest, the P is the principal or the present value, and then the F will be the maturity or the future value. To find the present value or principal of the maturity value F due in T years or time in years, the formula R for the principal is equals to the future divided by 1 plus R raised to T, or P or the present value is equals to future value times 1 plus R raised to negative T. Okay, so those are the formula we're going to use. So we have example number 1. So the given are the principal, which is the 18,500. The rate is 3%, and it is compounded annually for 3 years. So we're going to find the maturity value or the future value and the compound interest. So the unknown is 2, dalawa ang unknown, the maturity value and the compound interest. So ito yung ating solution. So first, use the formula of maturity value. So F is equals to the principal times 1 plus the rate raised to T. And then, isa-substitute natin ang given sa formula. So F is equals to 18,500. Ito yung ating principal. So ayun siya, 18,500. And then 1 plus the rate, which is the 3%. So i-convert natin into decimal number ang ating rate. So 3% is equals to 0.03 or 0.03. Then raised to 3, which is 3 years. T is 3 years. You can use a calculator in computing or in performing the operation of the given formula. So 1 plus 0.03 is equals to 1.03 raised to 3. So 1.03 cube. So you're going to multiply or i-multiply nyo sa sarili niya ng 3 beses. You can use calculator in computing this. So this given. Okay, so let us use the formula, the calculator, sorry. So 1.03. So, gamitin natin itong function na to, yung x raised to y. Then, ang ating exponent is 3. So, raised to 3. And then, we get 1.092727. And then, after getting the cube of 1.03, imumultiply naman natin siya sa principal, which is 18,500. And then we get 20,215.4495. So, i-round up natin. So, you're going to round up the answer into 2 decimal place. So, it will become 20,215.45. Okay? So, let us see. So, after substituting the given into the formula, then you're going to perform the operation, what we did earlier. Then we will have the future value of 20,215.45. So, in finding the compound interest, we're going to use the formula future value minus the principal. So our future value is 20,215.45, and our principal value or the present value is 18,500. So subtract, perform the operation, 20,215.45 minus 18,500. We will have the compound interest of 1,715.45. So this amount is the interest in 3 years of 18,500. So therefore, the maturity value is 20,215.45 and the compound interest is 1,715.45. Naintindihan po? So this is the formula in finding the future value, and this is the formula for finding the compound interest. Let's have another example. So the given are the future value, which is 15,000. The rate is 2%. It is compounded annually for 4 years. So the unknown is the present value. So what is the present value or the principal value? So the solution, we're going to use the formula in finding the present value. So P is equals to future value divided by 1 plus R raised to T. So we're going to substitute the given to the formula. So P is equals to 15,000, which is the future value or the maturity value, over or divided by 1 plus 0.02, which is the rate, 2% converted into decimal number, which is 0.02, and then raised to 4, which is the T in 4 years. So you can use again a calculator in computing this one. So 1 plus 0.02 is equals to 1.02 raised to 4. So 1.02, we're going to use again a calculator so that we can perform the operation quickly. So 1.02, so use the function x raised to y, then our y will be 4, and then we will have 1.08243216. And then the principal value, the future value, we're going to divide. No, we're going to divide 15,000 to the product of 1.02 raised to 4. And we will have an answer of 13,857.68. So you're going to round up the answer into two decimal place. Okay? So again, 15,000 divided by the product of 1.02 raised to 4 will be 13,857.68. So therefore, the present value is 13,857.68. So the money or the principal amount is this 13,857.68. Okay? So now, how about compounding more than once a year? So sometimes, ginagawa natin, kino-compound natin ang interest minsan twice a year or 6 times a year depending on the contract. Depende sa pag-uusap ng nangungutang at inuutangan or the lender and the borrower. Okay? So in the previous examples, the interests are compounded annually. So madali lang siya. It's very easy to compute. However, there are cases that interests are compounded more than once a year. So in this case, additional terms must be clarified such as, so ito yung mga terms na kailangan natin maunawaan. We have the frequency of conversion, which is the M, is the number of conversion period in 1 year. So itong M ang magsasabi kung ilan beses i-compound yung ating pera or yung ating principal or yung interest in a year. Kung twice ba siya or thrice ba siya or pang-apat na beses. So that is the frequency of conversion, which is M. Next, we have the conversion or interest period. It is the time between successive conversion of interest. And the total number of conversion periods, which is the N. So N is equals to M times T. Okay, so M, which is the frequency of conversion, then times the time in years. That is the N. And then the nominal rate, so the nominal rate is IM. So annual rate of interest or interest rate per year. So I raised to M or IM. Then the rate, which is the J of interest for each conversion period, which is J is equals to J, which is IM raised to M, divided by the M, or the annual rate of interest divided by the frequency of conversion. Okay? So remember the different terms in compounding more than once a year. Okay, let's have a table here. So try to study. So we have here the situations column. We have the M column, the N column, the IM column, and the J column. So in the situation number 1, we have 2% compounded annually for 3 years. So M is equals to annually, which is 1. So M is equals to 1 because it is compounded annually. So N, in computing the M, we're going to have the formula M times T. So M, which is annually, is equals to 1. The time will be 3 years, so T is equals to 3. So N is equals to 1 times 3. So N is equals to 3. Okay? And then the IM, so I is equals to I raised to 1 is equals to 0.02, which is 2%. Okay? And then to find the J, we're going to divide IM I raised to m divided by the m. The I m is equals to 0.02 divided by 1, which is the m is equals to 1. So 0.02 divided by 1, the j is equals to 0.02. On the second situation, we have 2% compounded semi-annually. When we say semi-annually, it is twice a year. So for 3 years. So m is equals to 2 because it is semi-annually, it means twice. So 2, m is equals to 2. Then again, n is equals to m times t. M is 2, t is 3, which is 3 years. So 2 times 3 is equals to 6. So n is equals to 6. Next, I2. So we're going to change m, the equivalent of m, which is 2. But the equivalent of I2 is also equal to I1 because it tells us on the situation number 2, there is the rate of 2%. So meron tayong 2% lang dito. So 0.02 pa rin ang equivalent ng I2. And then to find the J, substitute the formula in IM divided by M, 0.02, which is the I2, and then divided by 2, which is semi-annually, so M is equals to 2, and then we will have 0.01. Next, on the third situation, so 2% compounded quarterly for 3 years. So when we say quarterly, it is 4 times a year. Then M is equals to 4. And then again, to find the N, you're going to multiply the M into T. So M is equals to 4 and T is equals to 3 because 3 years siya. And then 4 times 3 is equals to 12. So N is equals to 12. Then IM will become I4 because it indicates how many times in a year compounded the interest rate. So the interest rate is 0.02. And then the J, again, 0.02 divided by 4 is equals to 0.005. And then on the fourth situation, it is compounded monthly for 3 years. When we say monthly, so there are 12 months in a year, so it is compounded 12 times. So M is equals to 12. Then again, N is equals to M times T. So M is 12 and T is 3. So 12 times 3 is 36. So the IM will become I12 is equals to 0.02, which is 2% again. And then the J will be 0.02 divided by 12. We will have a 0.0016 and so on. And then on the last situation, we have 2% compounded daily for 3 years. So when we say daily, it is 365 days in a year. So M is equals to 365. So N is equals to M times T, which is 3. And then M is 365. So 365 times 3 is equals to 1,095. So N is equals to 1,095. And then I 365 is equals to 0.02, which is 2%. And then J, you're going to divide 0.02 to 365. Okay? So, I hope na naunawaan ninyo ang difference between the compounded interest rate annually, semi-annually, quarterly, monthly, and daily. Next, since the rate for each conversion period is represented by J, then in T years, interest is compounded MT times. Thus, the formula of maturity value for interest compounding M times a year is F is equals to principal or present value times 1 plus j, which is the interest rate, times the n, or raised to n. Then, where the f is the maturity value, p is the present value or the principal value, j is equals to jm divided by m, and then the n is equals to m times t. So meanwhile, in finding the present value given the maturity value is p is equals to f divided by 1 plus j raised to n. Okay? So let's have an example. So given is 50,000 pesos for the principal or the present value. I4 is equals to 0.03. M is equals to 4. T is equals to 4. Find the future value and the compound interest. As you can see here, M is equals to 4. It means it is compounded quarterly. And then T is equals to 4, which means compounded quarterly in 4 years with 3% rate. And the present value is 50,000 pesos. Right? So let's have the solution. Use the formula of maturity value F is equals to present value times 1 plus J raised to N. So solve for the N and the J. So unahin muna natin ang N and the J. So N is equals to M times T, which is N is equals to 4. 4 which is the M, and then times 4 which is the T, and then N is equals to 16. So 4 times 4 is equals to 16. And then for the J, so J is IM divided by M, which is I4 divided by M. So I4 is 0.03 divided by 4. So J is equals to 0.0075. Okay? And then substitute the value of the known variables in the formula here. F is equals to P times 1 plus J raised to N. So the P is equals to 50,000 plus 1 plus 0.0075, which is the J, and then times 16, which is the value of N. Okay? And then use again a calculator in computing 1 plus 0075 raised to 16. It is mahirap computin mano-mano kapag ganito nakalaki ang exponent. So we need to use a calculator. Okay? So 1.00, that 1.0075. Then use the function x raised to y. So the value of y is 16. So we have here 1.126 and so on. Then you're going to multiply it to the present value, which is 50,000. So we get 56,349.61. Okay. So we have here, in performing the operation, we will find, or we will have the answer of 56,349.61 pesos. So in finding the compound interest, so future value minus the present value. So substitute the values of F and P. So 56,349.61, which is the F, minus the 50,000, which is the P. And then we will have the compound interest of 6,349.61. So therefore, the maturity value is 56,349.61 and the compound interest is 6,349.61. Okay, we have example number 4. The given are the future value, which is 45,000 pesos. The I2 is equals to zero point zero 0.02, M is 2, and T is equals to 4. We're going to find the compound interest, or the unknown is the compound interest. The given shows that the rate is compounded semi-annually because the value of M is 2, and in 4 years because the value of T is 4. We have the solution. Use the formula P is equals to future value divided by 1 plus j raised to n. So first, same with the example number 3. First, we're going to solve for the n and the j. So n is equals to m times t, which is the m is 2 and then t is 4. So 2 times 4, n is equals to 8. And the j is I raised to 2 divided by the m. So I2 is 0.02 divided by m, which is 2. And then we will have the j is equals to 0.01. And then substitute the values of the known variables. So 45,000 divided by 1 plus 0.01 raised to 8. Okay, again, we're going to use a calculator in computing this exponential given. So 1.01. So 1.01. Use again the function of x raised to y, which is the 8. And then we will have 1.083. So we have 1.083 and so on. So we will have to divide the 45,000 to the answer or to the product of 1.01 raised to 8. We will have an answer of 41,556.75. So in finding the compound interest, we're going to use the formula compound interest is equals to future value, or the maturity value, minus the present value. So substitute the value of F and P, which is the 45,000, which is the future value, the maturity value, minus 41,556.75, which is the principal value or the present value. And then we have to perform the operation. So the difference on the operation 45,000 minus 41,556.75 is equals to 3,443.25. So therefore, the present value is 41,556.75 and the compound interest is 3,443.25. So remember to memorize all the formula in finding the present value, the future value, the J value, so that the operation or you can madali na para sa inyo to compute the unknown quantities. Okay? So, that's all for today. So, I hope you learned something on the interest, maturity, present, and future values in compound interest. So, see you on the next video. Thank you.